back. All of my men are still there. People who still need me are still there. There's still war going on. I love them all.
Such a bad person. Some of the things you can't do. I'm just terrible.
Okay, that's good practice. Okay. You guys are gonna say a little bit louder because the sound is gonna be quite loud. Make sure she agrees with that.
Yeah.
If you need a website, why not do it yourself? With Wix, you can create your own professional website.
Are you guys ready?
So you're supposed to all say everything that you said at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta try to say it loud so that she can hear you
yeah,
over the
and
gun
say it over
noises.
and over again. That's what you're supposed to do. Please don't yell right here.
Could you do it a little bit louder?
Louder?
Louder.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hear.
You gotta yell.
Yeah. Okay, are you guys ready?
You gotta yell. Just yell.
No worries.
I think you got it. I think.
Huh? You wanna sit?
You want to sit in a chair? You would like to switch places? Absolutely. Because my anxiety is at its
Go. Go ahead.
Is it charging?
It went to one.
Be louder than the.
Yeah.
Probably like this. Yeah. Okay, are you guys ready?
You said it was not the charging.
You guys gotta be louder.
Did she quit?
No. It was like I kept hearing like nobody cares about you. Like no one wants you here. Like you're annoying. And then it's just like if I kept hearing it from like this side more, and I was trying to like not hear it.
Yeah, I think the laughter comes from being uncomfortable and being in a spot where kind of never been before. It is kind of overwhelming to hear everything. And then when one voice kind of screams in your ear a little bit more than the others, right? That's probably where the laughter is coming from.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. For the last part of the presentation, I would like to introduce somebody to you guys. He's studying forensic psychology at Sunday, and when he was 20, he was deployed to Afghanistan for a year. And yeah, he may come to talk to you guys about his own experiences associated with PTSD and the war experiences. So yeah, let's give a big welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jared Musso. Like she said, I was deployed to Afghanistan when I was 20. I turned 21 overseas in 2011. I was deployed about less than a year after joining the Army. I'd only gone through basic training. So I didn't have a lot of experience. I didn't know what really to expect. And there was a definitely big culture shock in going from small town upstate New York to life haven't really changed in 2,000 years. These people are still living in mud huts, farming, and still sleeping like with their livestock to keep warm at night. So that was very different. And then I didn't really, there's no good program to help us translate back into civilian life. That makes it harder when you're not able to communicate with your family, when they don't understand why you're acting differently. We got asked, what is PTSD? And very simply, it is the normal reaction to an abnormal situation. So, like for firefighters, if their house catches on fire, they know what to do. But for us, we freak out. So in a gunfight, I'm calm, I'm very collective, but then going on the subway can be way too much for me because I have to make sure that everybody on that subway train isn't trying to kill me still. I had an experience where my ex-girlfriend really wanted to go to a family party for the 4th of July. Fireworks and gunfire sound very similar. I decided not to drink, and that was probably a good thing. So alcohol has you lose a lot of control over your actions. So the whole entire day I heard fireworks. I felt the concussions from the explosions and everything. And everything in my mind told me, hey, you're in combat right now. Like, take cover, shoot back, get your rifle, and start shooting back. Then I would look around, and my girlfriend and her family are playing beer pong. I'm like throwing the tennis ball with the dogs, and there's nobody shooting at me. So I was home for about 5 years before I was diagnosed with PTSD, and then I finally got Athena here, my service dog. You guys might see us around the campus a lot. We've been here for a year now. A lot of the stress in these intimate relationships just comes from not understanding, and it's somewhat of a taboo conversation to talk about a lot of dead people, and I struggle with some of my actions, understanding that they could have caused other people's death, and that is viewed upon as murder in our society, and that's frowned upon. But then I come home and people are giving me handshakes for doing that. So that's kind of a really weird feeling. And it's not something that people really want to listen to. So it's hard for your girlfriend or your wife to understand what it's like to feel bad. Because you thought if you did something better, if you did something differently, the outcome could have been different. And part of that is understanding just bad things happen, and we deal with them the best we can. I lost my buddy to a car accident. I didn't know if it was because another vehicle struck his car, if they were going too fast around the corner, and the roads were wet, and absolutely nothing that I could have done that day would have changed any of that. But I still kind of carry that guilt, so I was the only one to see it. I was actually presented his son, his 5-year-old son, a flag, a folded flag, and a picture of him. And I had to talk to his mother about it. And I had to explain to his mother why her son was killed and why I'm still alive. And that was kind of a rough transition back home. But I found that we talked a little bit about the therapies and stuff like that. The vet center does give free marital counseling and family counseling. They do group therapies, anger management, a whole bunch of different stuff for veterans dealing with a wide range of issues with PTSD. But shows or movies like American Sniper are a good start into the conversation of what it's like to kind of come home. And someone mentioned Hurt Locker before. You go from, I had $1 million vehicle I was responsible for maintaining and upkeeping. I had the weapons, and every day, because I was the gunner, like if I didn't do my job, somebody was going to die. Then I come home, and all I have to do is show up to class on time. Like, that's really easy. And the other thing was, like, because you're in such a dangerous situation, it's best if somebody knows where you are at all times. So at 21, 22 years old, I was still telling my dad every time I went from one friend's house to like the store. Like he didn't care, he didn't need to know, but like I felt like I had to tell him this in case something happened so that he could react. And you know, we have cell phones, and changing a tire on the side of the road isn't too hard for me. So there's a lot of just disconnection, not really understanding how I feel when like everyone enjoys fireworks, but it terrifies me. Another thing was I've had friends who I actually served with, and they were just a little bit too drunk and excited, and they get kind of pushy-shovey. I ended up flipping them over and putting them in a headlock unnecessarily because I felt as though I was being attacked and I have to react. And a lot of the times I don't even notice it. It just happens. It's instinctual. That kind of ruined the party that night, and we're fine now. But it just not understanding how you got to try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. And a big thing is talking to the veteran, let them know it's okay. There are some very difficult situations we were put in and that we face. PTSD is definitely a reminder where we've been, and it doesn't need to drag us down in the future. So talking to veterans, trying to get them to understand that you're there for them. You might not understand why or how they feel that way, but that's okay. They went through these experiences, and they're going to feel the way they're going to feel. But understanding that that's okay, and that you're there to communicate, definitely puts a support system under that veteran, and it helps them know that they're not alone. Because 22 to 23 veterans, depending on the study, commit suicide a day, and that is 20% of them are diagnosed with PTSD out of all the military, compared to 1 in 11 throughout the whole entire population of the U.S. So we definitely struggle with this more than other people. Through having Athena and the other people with PTSD, house fires, rape and stuff like that. I personally never went through that trauma, and I've known because of my trauma and talking to veterans about their trauma, you can't really grade it or compare it, but understanding it's different and it affects them very, very significantly, and to kind of respect that gives them an opportunity they'll be able to talk to, and that might be enough to kind of save their life with people with mental illness, because it is a struggle. I've been to family weddings, and I grew up very close with my family, and I feel as though I have nothing in common with them now. I felt like a complete stranger day one of just meeting everybody. That was a really creepy feeling. After I know have so many memories with these people, but because they weren't there, they don't want to talk about it. We're very separate now. There's definitely a wall put up. So to do with that, I kind of found out that to talk to other veterans, other people with PTSD, that definitely helps. I'm able to be included in that social circle now. So you just you learn different ways to deal with it and stuff. I've taken art therapy, music therapy, group therapy. I finally got my service dog. She's been a tremendous help. Any questions, anything about anything I experienced or PTSD in general?
Athena, what's like the you got a service dog or
Yes.
to prevent
So she's trained in several things. I trained her myself. She's trained for medical alert. So I'll give her the command whenever I'm starting to feel a panic attack come on, and she'll get up in my face and everything, and I'll have to pay attention to her. So like the thoughts that were coming in the two people's heads, instead of those thoughts overwhelming me like they did with you guys, she gets in my face. So those thoughts go away, and now I have to deal with a puppy in my face, which is way better than dealing with, hey, I did this or that or other thing. She's also trained to, she'll open doors, bring things to me, she opens up the fridge, and she does what's called blocking. I have a big problem on the subways. So some of the avoidance, I'll purposely pick classes so I don't have to take rush hour subways. But when she's laying like this and I'm up against the door or up against a wall or something, I now have like a 3-foot bubble. And that's better. It brings the anxiety down from a 10 or 11 or a 10 down to like a 6 or a 7, which then I can use like meditation and mindfulness, other strategies of learning therapy to deal with it. Any other questions? Yes.
So if you do know somebody with PTSD, how would you approach them?
Specifically for veterans, there's some questions that are kind of that will trigger some emotions and stuff. For me, a lot of it are dates. Like the day my buddy was killed is a bad day, but if you're my friend and even if you're just a classmate and we work on homework together, whatever, and you just say like, hey, I know you're not in class today, but I hope you have a good day. Like you understand that you didn't know my friend and you never will, but it's, you know what, you're still thinking about me and you still want me to be happy living my life, and that means like I'm not alone. You understand that I do have a pain, the silent wound that we have, or silent scream it's sometimes called, the invisible wound, and this way I'm not the only one carrying it. So it kind of helps me shift the burden to other people so we can kind of all carry it together. And that just makes it feel as though even though I'm isolating myself, I don't have to. And that's very comforting. Any other questions?